önemli zirvenin ikinci paneline başlayacağız. Bu panelimizin adı artık dilimizden düşürmediğimiz bir kelimeyle başlıyor. Sürdürülebilir Gelecek için İşbirliği, Üçüz Dönüşüm, Dijital Dönüşüm. The title of our second panel is Triple Transformation, Collaboration for a Sustainable Future, Digital Transformation. Bu panelin moderatörü Kawtar Outmani, Portföy ve Marka Yöneticisi UM6P Ventures'dan Kawtar Outmani yönetecek bu paneli. Portfolyo ve Marka Yöneticisi UM6P Ventures'dan. Panelistlerimiz ise Profesör Doktor Tuğkan Tuğlular, İzmir Institute of Technology, Department of Computer Engineering, İzmir Teknoloji Üniversitesi Bilgisayar Mühendisliği Bölümünden öğretim üyesi. Lina Tsaltampasi, sorry if I mispronounce it, SEGE'de Yönetim Kurulu Başkanı. She is the president of the Greek Association of Women Entrepreneurs. Maryrose Francica, or Francica? Francica, okay. Skills on Malta'nın başkanı. She is the director of Skills on Malta. Ve Sana Afoais, Yönetim Kurulu Başkanı NERE'nin Womenpreneur Initiative, President of Women Power Initiative. You have the timing. I'm just letting you to moderate, and at the end of the panel, you're welcome to take questions, and the floor is yours. I was going to say ladies, but there's one gentleman who is patiently waiting there. Okay, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everyone joining us, especially after the coffee break. Thank you for the ESICAT, and thank you for all the teams behind the organization for bringing all these brilliant minds together. And special thanks to my fellow moderator, my dear Mohammed, for keeping us on time. And I will do my best to do the same so that we're not late for the later sessions. Thank you so much for introducing our speakers. And so you can see that we have a diverse panel, and we were just speaking earlier how we will have insights from Turkey, Greece, Malta, Belgium, Morocco. And so the previous panel sets the ground for the transformation in general, and how my dear Mohammed said that we cannot think of transformation separately. So we're setting pillar by pillar. After the green or clean transformation, we are moving to the digital transformation in this panel, how we will explore how digital transformation is reshaping business models, how we are seeing new innovative ways of doing business, how this is impacting the labor markets, how is this creating new trends, and how regional corporations are both impacted by these new trends and how they could benefit and boost this digital transformation. So we can see how new technologies such as artificial intelligence, data analysis is creating opportunities for SMEs in general, startups, founders, women, especially entrepreneurs. But on the same hand, if not used very wisely, it creates gaps, it creates lack, and it creates danger. And we are here today to talk about both sides of opportunities and downfalls, I would call. So our speakers here today will be invited to share concrete examples from their work, from how technology and entrepreneurship and skills, the intersection of the three, can help us reach this triple transformation and how we can benefit from it while minimizing the risks or the downfall. So I'm gonna start straight with Dr. Tuğkan, and speaking about the tools that are currently available. In which concrete areas technologies such as artificial intelligence, blockchains, immersive tools are already transforming the business models and operations? How can we see it in the concrete life of business?
Thank you so much. So it's a great honor to be here. Good organization. So I'm a professor of Izmir Institute of Technology, but at the same time, I'm a co-founder of two companies. So I'm an entrepreneur at the same time. So I would like to share my vision with respect to the technologies, especially AI, blockchain, and immersive tools. And today, those actually changing the landscape for the real companies, and that happens in real time. So artificial intelligence is reshaping customer engagement and operations, and AI tools personalize marketing, automate support, and boost sales. And this is what we're observing in every sector. And they help companies to predict demand, also optimize pricing and reduce repetitive work. So even small firms can benefit from these technologies by using cloud-based AI services. So blockchain is bringing trust and transparency into the business processes, so companies can track products end-to-end and automate agreements with smart contracts. This reduces administrative costs and builds confidence in cross-border processes and partnerships. Immersive tools like AR and VR, they improve actually training and customer experience. So the technicians can get guidance over these tools, and teams can collaborate in virtual spaces. The tourism, retail, and real estate today actually using these immersive experiences to attract customers. So for Mediterranean SMEs, I think the message is very simple. Today, you don't need large internal tech teams to benefit from those technologies. They are already available in the cloud, so easily and cheaply you can access them and utilize them. So they are very affordable. So the first step for an SME to take would be digitalizing the core processes and also build strong data foundations. So better data, as you know, leads better decisions, and this will unlock the true value of AI. And you know, SMEs, they need to move fast. The competition is fierce. And these technologies, AI, blockchain, immersive tools, they allow these even small companies operate like large, big companies. So from the internet, when you look at those small companies, you feel like they are actually big companies, but actually they are using the power of cloud services and AI. And these tools actually enable agility, so you can move, act fast, and also they allow us to have data-driven decisions, and of course, new market access. So I think this is the moment for Mediterranean SMEs to take this power and change the landscape, reshape the future of Mediterranean. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. So you have spoken about the Mediterranean SMEs and how they could benefit from the affordability of such solutions to move faster, to rely on data, and to make the best out of it. And I will move to Mrs. Lina to speak about which business models or customer channels or cross-border opportunities maybe does digitalization open if we put the scope a little tighter on women-led SMEs?
Thank you very much for the questions. You didn't take the chance to take my last name again. It was too dangerous.
Playing it safe and calling you Mrs. Lina.
Very smart. This is a women act. Thank you very much to our sisters in EasyCat for this great opportunity to be again in Izmir, and of course for FIME, our association that brings all Europe, Mediterranean region together. And of course with the auspices also of ASPAME and United of Union for Mediterranean, who are always our allies in meeting together. So the digitalization is not a change, just a change. It's a challenge and an opportunity to shape a more balanced economic and business environment for women, not only in the region, but generally. For the first time, women who are active in economy have the information, access to information, tools, we have networks, and this comes regardless to our backgrounds, our financial capacity, and our geographic situation, because these tools are open and there for everyone. There is only one axis that it is joined. There is one component, and the important component is education. So the moment we educate girls in schools and women as adults, learners, we immediately provide them to the access needed to thrive in business, in economy, in innovation, and in research. In the past, to be honest, we were really afraid of what the digital era will bring, the anonymity, that we will not meet each other, we will not have, as Ala said, the coffee and the card making, exchanging. But it's not a hazard. We are not allowed to be a hazard. So if we don't like it, it will not be. It's an open window to trade, to business, and to financial empowerment. Our region has been suffering from gender inequalities, and we all know that, it's known. And our cultural particularities were nurturing these inequalities in all our countries. Either they are European, Asian, or African and Mediterranean. Digital transformation and the use of AI are allies, are the female allies in building resilience and progress to women in the Euro-Mediterranean. And most importantly, our associations, our networks have the responsibility to stand up for women in the Euro-Mediterranean region. We have the responsibility to support the educational path of girls and women and lead the way for sustainable change. The information is out there. It is open, and not using it is our responsibility as association to provide it to our members, to our societies, but also it is the responsibility of women to seek for this information, which is now open. It's not like we are in the 90s or the millennials where we didn't have this access. So if all of us want to consider ourselves leaders or female role models, the responsibility is double, triple, and zillion. We need to be the change in the digital era that I want the future generation of women to carry.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Lina. The most important point that I keep in mind is the access to the information, because the ones who have access to information have the privilege to move better, to move faster, to test, and to go further. And also the education for girls, and that makes me move to Mrs. Maryrose, because speaking of education, of trainings, of skills, how has the digital transformation changed people management or workplace in general, remote work and productivity? Because there is this debate between advocating for that or thinking that it takes down the productivity. So what's your take on that?
So good morning, my name is Maryrose Francica. I come from Malta. Malta is the smallest EU member state. It's much smaller than Izmir, actually, so let alone the whole of Turkey. I would like to thank EasyCat for this invitation. I am the director of Skill Zone Malta, which is a training hub, and also the president of Women Elevation Malta. This past day and a half, it was an inspiring, days where I heard a lot of companies and I heard a lot of millions and billions. I work with grassroots. I work with women, with micro SMEs, and like small one-man bands. So for me, this is something, to be here with all these big companies, it's a big honor. So the digital transformation has fundamentally reshaped the way organizations now organize work and measure productivity. From my experience in skills development and EU-funded capacity building projects, there were three major shifts. First, the people management has moved towards a more structured and skill-based approach. Now with remote and hybrid work becoming a standard in the Euromed region, companies can no longer rely on informal proximity-based supervision. And managers now have to require strong digital competences, clear communication strategies, and greater focus on performance indicator rather than physical presence. So the shift has professionalized HR practices across many Mediterranean SMEs. The second one is that remote work has highlighted the centrality of digital and transversal skills. Productivity today depends on the individual's need, how to organize their time, and how to confidently operate between the different digital tools. The companies that adopted these and invested early, we can say that COVID pushed this digital-driven forward, and they invested in digital upskilling and workplace flexibility, are in a very good position today, unlike the ones who had taken their time, to develop the company. And those, they are facing now widening skill gaps and reduced efficiency. And the third, the digitalization has exposed structural inequalities, particularly affecting women and vulnerable groups like migrants or people with caregiving responsibilities. In Women Elevation Malta, we try to be flexible to empower these cohorts and include training as a way of life in companies for digital adoption, so that no group will be left behind.
Thank you so much, Ms. Maryrose. So far we have spoken about how the digital transformation is very important in business, how it improves the transparency, the swiftness, how the advantage of having access to information is good for the business, how the strong digital literacy is important, and that brings us to the inequality, to the social dimension of it. So my question to Mrs. Sana would be, what could we do differently to bridge or minimize this gap, especially for women immigrants, as Mrs. Maryrose mentioned, or youth in general?
Hi, everyone. Very good question, because I think when it comes to digital skills, first of all, we need to realize, the place of women in this new revolution. And I'll give you a very simple example. Take this phone. This is an iPhone. I love Apple products. I think they're very active, they're very effective. Unfortunately, as a woman, I always break my phones. So this is iPhone 15 Pro Max, but it's the smaller version. There is the bigger version, which is basically the same price, but the difference is that with this one, I have to buy iCloud, so I have to buy storage. So I'm paying every month 10 euros, but the bigger one, which is the same price, actually has unlimited storage space. So the bigger one is used by men because men have bigger hands comparing to women. So I'm paying the same products, same price, but I'm not enjoying the same experience. So I have two options. Otherwise I'll buy the smaller one and then I have to pay storage, which is not cool. Or I buy the bigger one and then I break it and then I have to buy a case in order for me to hold it. So I am being pushed to buy more, to consume more. Why? Because the designers behind this type of products are mostly men. So this brings us to the very important question. If we want to see women in tech, if we want to see more women producing, innovating in tech, we need to make sure that they are in the decision making, because those rooms where the few white men taking decision, that's where the influence comes from. So my name is Sana, by the way, and I run Womanpreneur, which is an organization that I founded in 2016. I never studied tech. I actually studied political science, but I was very much impressed, or let's say intrigued by the power of tech when I was in Jordan. Not in the US, not in Japan, not in Canada, not in Europe, when I was in Jordan. You have to know that I come from a region where we have one of the highest number of women studying STEM in the world, actually. And I was in Jordan. At the time, before I created Womanpreneur, I was consultant for the UN, and I was doing a research about women in economy in Jordan. And I was invited by, as you know, the Arab region is very welcoming, they are the kings and the queens of hosting people. So you can easily, make connections. And I was interviewing one of the entrepreneurs who invited me to come to explore a space center in Jordan, in Amman. And I arrived, and it was like a full room of women developing gaming. For me, that image was so strong. I was like, wow, I have never seen a room full of women behind machines. So then I started asking questions to the women around, and one of them told me that for her, technology is power. Technology is freedom. Technology is that space where she can imagine, she can create her own world. So for me, that was super powerful as a statement, and as a good researcher, I did my research on tech, and then I realized the power and what we are missing if we don't put women in the center of the digital transformation. So I decided to go to Belgium and create a space, Womanpreneur space, where basically we create a platform for women to learn about tech, to innovate and create tech. Because if you look worldwide today, AI is the hot trend, but not beyond the hot trend is actually the sector that is evolving, changing our societies every day. And women are completely excluded from this sector. We have only 26% of women working as professionals in AI, and they are in the sales department. So if we want to see change, if we want to really see women thriving and growing, we need to make sure that they are creating technology, because it does change our daily basis. Microsoft AI platform was face recognition, was created in order to facilitate our daily lives. So there was a study that did an exercise to see the interaction of this face recognition. So they put a picture of Michelle Obama, I think you know her, hopefully, and Serena Williams. The Microsoft face recognition described them as young black boys. So imagine two very important, inspiring female figures were basically described by a face recognition AI-based as young black boys. So this shows you that there is so much exclusion happening in the tech sector, specifically in the AI. And that's where we have to make sure that women, we don't just talk about, we need to have women in tech, but we need to create those spaces. And for me, if we really want to have women in tech, we need to invest in that. Money talks, super important. Because I hear of this all the time, we need to have more women in tech. But then when you sit down with the government and you say, okay, how much budget do you put into training women in tech? It's very minimal. And if you look into the tech startups created by women, only 2% of venture capital go to startups created by women in the world. So there is so much yet to be done, and if we really want that to happen, I think it starts with money. Put the money where it should be. Put it in investing in educating women, training women, preparing women. We're talking about more than 50% of worldwide population. So how come we are excluding, economically speaking, besides that is a human right, economically speaking, we are missing out on a huge part of the population. And I will go back to the MENA region, where we actually have, as I mentioned, the highest number of women studying STEM in the world. I come from Morocco, which is the second country where we have the highest number of female engineers in the world. But the issue that we have in the MENA region is that we have this brilliant, smart women studying STEM, but when you go to the job market, they're invisible. They are not there. And this is because one of the main reasons is the cultural and social aspect of it, and we cannot deny it. Before your career, you're still looked from a social, cultural perspective. And like your role comes into that first before it comes to your career. So there is a mindset shift that we need to work on in the region, and it doesn't include women only, it includes society. Man, you are concerned. I know you are few here in the room today, but you are concerned, and it's super important if we want to reach that economic, social development, we need to make sure that everybody's involved. The MENA region is a region that has been, for so long, living through a lot of instability, politically speaking, socially speaking, economically speaking. I think this is our last chance to actually do the right thing, to take the right decisions, to make the right investments, because the world is evolving so fast. I mean, in China, they have, robots, CEO. One of the biggest gaming company in the world, called DragonNet, is actually led by a CEO robot. So in other countries, in other parts of the world, we're talking about robot replacement of humankind, human skills. In our region, we are still struggling into investing in our youth, investing in our women, investing in their education and their training. So I do think the first thing that we need to do is to make sure that this investment comes as first action, and then working on our cultural mindsets, and then investing in startups, investing in entrepreneurship. We're living a transformation. Tomorrow, the job as we know it today, securing your 9 to 5 p.m. job is not gonna happen. The world is gonna change. So you will have to create your own job. So we need to put that into mind, into consideration. So we need to invest in creation. We need to invest in innovation through investing in young startups created by women and young people.
Exactly, Sana. And this investment and money talks brings me to the remark that we always have, is that we need women investors to invest in women-founded startups, because we have this tendency of working with people who look like us, with collaborating, because I am in investment and we have other people that deal with money, and these are more relationship-based sectors, and so it takes knowing people to invest in them. And so if men spend more time with men and men have the money, they would naturally give it more to men. And if we have women who are in this position, who know women, who speak to them and who learn about their projects, they would naturally be giving more money to women. So
if I can just comment on that, definitely I agree with you. We need to have more female investors. Once again, it is in those decision rooms where actually change can happen. But I want to go to the root of the problems. I don't want to kind of use it as positive discrimination, like women will go and invest in women. Men should invest in women because women are talented, women have skills, and there are so many studies that show actually when women pitch, they pitch a realistic vision of their startup. They actually pitch with real numbers. So it is for the man, once again, to make the effort. It is on the man to change their mindset, and it's on the man to invest in women.
I feel like this is getting a debate started, whether is it, I believe it's each has to do their part. And speaking of the democratizing access to, how tech is democratizing access to opportunities, I will go back to you, Professor Tuğkan, about how the digitalization or digital tools democratize the access to SMEs in the Euro-Mediterranean regions to be able to build in-house tech teams and to grow their companies from there without really needing to rely on external resources, external talents.
So the agenda for the coming years for those small, medium enterprises backed by entrepreneurs, I mean, they need to use data and AI as we use electricity today. So this requires shifting from manual work to automating everything and become intelligent as the systems grow. and this will help us to stay competitive. So my suggestion is take a step, integrate data and AI into one platform where you can unite all the data, like customer data, operational data, financial data, and have a real-time AI dashboard with a chatbot. So this will empower all the companies and make very competitive. So these tools, such a platform, will actually help us to see the forecasts, the trends, early risk signs, and also using through the chatbot, it becomes an operational tool. So my suggestion here is to become an intelligence-first organization. Like in 2015, we had this trend going mobile first, and today it became intelligence first. So my suggestion is to take a step and move towards to intelligence. And for this, we need to automate the core processes and also make sure that every decision is backed by data. So this is what I can say. Thank you.
Thank you. So it is true if the companies have the internal built-in tech, that would be a good start to thrive, but we also know that companies need to be in the right environment, in the right ecosystems to be able to move forward. And my question to you, Mrs. Lina, is from your experience, what ecosystem conditions, networks, maybe regulations are needed for these companies who are tech ready to thrive and to take themselves to the next level?
I don't, generally in all conditions, what we are seeking is not just discussions. We are seeking about call to actions. So in every aspect, digital transformation, green transformation, social transformation, what we need is to call people into tangible projects that will shape the future. In the Greek Businesswomen Association, when it comes to green transition, and we analyzed what needs to be done, we started the first female-led energy cooperativa of the world. And this was mentioned from United Nations as best practice, as the first female-led initiative that managed to be part of the production line. In the same aspect, when it comes to digital era and how we can transform companies and lead them into this condition, we have developed a project called Her Research, where we invite women in research and mostly in the digital engineering and STEM conditions to come and teach them how to become start-uppers, how to reach for grants in the European Union, so it is a tangible call for action. The same projects, similar projects, we have developed for social economy. So when you want the society to move forward, you just do the thing. You don't discuss the thing, you do the thing. So we have developed a female hub, we called it We Hub, which is a female empowerment and entrepreneurship hub, where we support this digital transformation for Greek businesses to be as well. So no more discussion in the hall, but activities and actions, real actions outside this hall. It's important to discuss it, but if we don't come out from here and we don't have a single action that we will co-design or inspire to do, we have failed today. So the transformation, any transformation, comes from actions and not just thinking.
Exactly. As we say, we gotta walk the talk. My next question is to you, Mrs. Maryrose. So, speaking about what concrete actions can we do or apply when designing the workforce to boost the skills, the digital skills, towards 2030?
So I think that everyone in this room, including myself, we are talking from a very privileged position. There are women, who don't have access to such training. So as Women Elevation Malta, and we are a very, very small non-profit organization, we have decided to apply for EU funding, especially in Erasmus+, SERF, and AMIF, to try and give this training for free. In the last year, we managed to get 10 EU-funded projects, and we are inviting these women, to train them, migrant women, women who have been out of the labor force for long years, because everybody is afraid of change. You are afraid of what you don't know. So we're giving them the confidence, we are training them in AI, how to use AI in everyday life, about cybersecurity, and you can see them gaining confidence. As I said, I don't work with big multi-million companies, but I work with cottage industries, I work with women who are starting up, small industries. So I think the first thing is, like Lina said, we have to give them the chance. It's easier for big companies, to have the things in place to do the training, but the women in the street, the mother, who is thinking about starting up, it's very hard. It's very hard. So we are trying our best because we realized there was a need. And also, these women, usually they don't have the money and the funds to pay for training. So we use that model to apply for EU funds, so then we can give very good quality training for free to these women. At least we feel that we are the voice of the voiceless. So.
Exactly, to use well the privilege that we are in. And this fear of the unknown or the uncertainty, what is AI, what will it replace, what will it change? Also, I know that there are some research about how the use of AI is different in the West from the East, maybe how they rely more on AI because it's cheaper, while the workforce maybe in the East is cheap, so AI is more expensive, and that's in itself a limitation to learn about AI, to deploy it, and to make the best out of it. So to end on a high note, a positive note, I have a question to all the panelists. What would be one key digital priority you would set as a goal for by 2030? And what would be a simple success metric to measure it? I think we can start with you, Ms. Sana.
One concrete action, right?
Digital transformation priority.
Okay. Maybe before I give the one concrete action, probably I will just share also our kind of actions that we do on a daily basis at Womenpreneur. So what we do is we provide tech training for women, because as I mentioned, we want women to create tech and be in tech. And I remember when we started Womenpreneur, when I founded it back end of 2016, we had like 10 women in a room. We were teaching them coding. And when I started, everybody told me, you will see it will fail, women are not interested in tech, it's biologically women interested in other industries. Today, we have trained over 25,000 women in 25 countries. So this is just basically a stereotype. Women can be interested in tech, women can venture in tech. So through all these years, we manage always to put in place strategies to attract women to tech, to bring women to tech, and bring tech to women. So one of our training programs, for example, I'll go back to the phones, is basically, as you know, we are talking about environment, cycling, recycling, and climate change. So a lot of companies are driven into the green economy, making sure about their contribution to environment. And I said to the team, you know what, we need to start a new program. And what we're going to do is we're going to teach women to repair phones and tablets, because there is a need of this kind of experts on the market. So there is a huge market need when it comes to people repairing, so basically in general. And we are going to tap into very important economic markets for women, so teaching them to repair phones and tablets will be just great. So, and in order for us to do that, we contacted companies who are looking for those to repair. So we were like, okay, listen, you need skills in repairing, we have the women. So in order for us to collaborate with you, you need to sign contracts with us, you're going to hire these women. So this was our strategy, and this is something that I would basically advise as an action, is basically to collaborate with the private sector. From one hand, you're training, and the second hand, you're providing talent, so there is hiring. And I think this is super concrete, and I would propose it as an action from the government level as well, is to collaborate with the private sector. Companies provide opportunity, job opportunities. So we need to have very strategic partnership, not just signing MOUs like, every year and taking beautiful pictures, but go beyond that and actually put in place concrete collaborations that will help economic development, and with that will help also the social aspect of it. And
how can we measure it? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's a very good question. Having KPIs, of course. All countries sign different agreements, EU agreements, UN agreements. And like Europe, for example, they have a KPI to reach at least 40% of women in tech in Europe in 2030. Are we going to be there? Not sure. But I think in order for us to reach this KPI, it's about the financial investment that we put in place from the beginning.
So money, private sector, clear KPIs. That's how we're going to be there. Mrs. Maryrose, what's one digital key priority?
Yes,
and
so
how can we measure it?
For the next 12 months, our concrete initiative is through an EU-funded project, actually, and we're going to have 120 trained participants across Malta, trained in AI literacy, and it is supported by a digital toolkit, online resource hub, and also we're doing mentoring. So we're going to mentor them for the next year, so and help them on their entrepreneurial journey.
The best part is the numbers, so that shows how concrete the actions is.
We have to do it because it's one of the deliverables of the project, so
yes,
we have to. And the women are already identified, and we are very happy that we were oversubscribed, in fact, because, and obviously we did not say no to anyone, but those are the official 120 women, and we have more women who are joining the course, because they feel the need to do it.
Yeah, and Mrs. Lina?
The goal for 2030 could be to bridge the digital gap for women over 40. Because if we manage to bring these women into the STEM community, that means that they will be good role models for younger women, but at the same time, the KPIs on bringing more women into the digital market will be reached quicker than just focusing on younger girls, because the women over 40 can do it. They have the mind. They just were not taught where they should be. So this is one general target that we have globally, I think. As for the Greek Businesswomen Association, we are starting our new bootcamp through her research in March 2026, and we aim to reach 50 startups in digital and green transformation. And 50 startups doesn't mean 50 women only. It means 50 plus, because each startup can have more women. But the final target for 2030 should be for us not to be here, meaning that we will not have the need to discuss about women and men in sectors of the economy. We will speak about business people, we will speak about students, we will speak gender neutral by reaching equality into the economy.
Very clear. Thank you, Mrs. Lina. Professor Tuğkan.
Thank you. So, as I said before, the aim should be to become an intelligence-first company. And for that reason, I suggest to build a community. We have one in Izmir, actually. The Aegean Chamber of Industry has an artificial intelligence working group, and we share experiences, and we discuss the next steps every 2 months. And we actually have leaders in the group. They would like to try and take on this new technology and become an intelligence-first company. So I think in the next 12 months, this is an achievable goal, building such a community, sharing experiences, and working towards becoming an intelligence-first organization. Thank you.
Clear. Thank you so much, Professor. So from the tools that are available, the advantage that it gives, building the capacities and giving access to education, to information, to opportunities, to building the digital literacy and to bridging the gap, especially, and how you phrase it, not speak of men or women, not speak of even the age, not age or gender, but to speak just by categories and see how the digital transformation is helping boost each sector and the economy of each region. Thank you so much to our speakers. You've brought a rich perspective to each their background from academia, entrepreneurship, social, so we got diverse point of views. Thank you so much for your contributions. I don't know if we still have time for questions. We do? Okay, I don't know if anyone from the audience has any questions about the projects that were mentioned by our speakers. If so, please raise your hands, or maybe we were too clear.
Don't be shy.
I think we were too clear, or maybe they want to go for lunch. Oh, yes.
More than a question, I just would like to comment on something. I'm Muslim. I represent a women entrepreneurship association from Cyprus. I do lots of training with youngsters. I don't do it personally in all fields, but we try to encourage especially young women and over 40 women into digitalization, which we need support at times as well. But what I see from our works that we've been handling over the years, that consistency is very important with the training. Having one-off training, it just doesn't work. And the women needs to realize how much they will be benefiting. And throughout the trainings, technology is something that evolves all the time, and there are changes and variations throughout the time. So it's something that we haven't worked on now, but it's that we are thinking on and working on for the future, as we do have young members within our system, and they are very digital compared to older generation. We have a mentoring program for older generation, for the younger, to support them in entrepreneurship, but we can do the vice versa and make them work with the older generation, and especially Maryrose mentioned, we are the privileged people who is here, and we are able to find sources to our needs, but there are lots of women out there that they need encouragement, help and support, and maybe we can integrate the younger generation with the older generation. Let's not say older, but and integrate them and actually have that communal synergy at the same time as well, and make them work together in that field, and also that will support the people that needs to be digitalized, and also have that community moving forward together. I just wanted to add this idea, and maybe you might have a comment about it as well.
When you said consistency, it's very important because, as was mentioned, walking the talk, you know, you don't do just one workshop on one activity, take pictures and just to communicate and say, hey, what we call RSC, responsabilité. just for companies to show that they are doing something and just post pictures, but actually being consistent with the trainings and making sure to reach their targets. And I also strongly believe in the bridging the generations. So junior, senior, young, old, it doesn't really matter how we describe it or what words we use, but it's just the expertise, it's the fresh eye and the expertise and bringing the two together. I don't know if any of the speakers want to add anything, or maybe we can. Okay, thank you so much everyone, and what's next?
Well, thank you, Ms. Outmani. Now the president of İZİDAK, Özden Erten, and honorary president of İZİDAK will be presenting you these Artemis statutes as a token of appreciation for your presence. Thank you very much for this panel. If you could kindly come down, maybe from here, yeah. Thank you for your understanding, by the way. Kızlar biraz hızlı olun. Hadi.
Öne geleyim buraya.
Evet, herkese teşekkür ediyoruz. Şimdi öğle yemeği arası veriyoruz.